All right. Uh, I'll have to actually take you guys down to what we actually have today. My name is Odochinedo. I'm popularly known as Fabulous. I'm a data analyst and a data scientist. I've worked across different sectors of the economy. I'm privileged to have been here in this particular bootcamp. Like I said, data analysis. Whenever you hear about this, some person said money, some person said breakdown of information, another person said using data to do some predictions and what have you. So data analysis is actually the new oil in the recent digital space. It's actually the new oil. I'll break it down for you. I don't know if you guys have ever been scrolling down, say your Google, that's you're searching something on Google, or you're browsing and something like ads or anything pops up, and you'll be like, this thing is very, very familiar with me. Like I could relate with this thing. Are these people tracking me or something? Have you ever experienced something of such? Have you ever experienced anything of such? Yes. You find out that you actually find out that those things that those people use are actually your data. And in this part of the country, it's quite unfortunate that we are not aware of our data. We are not aware of the things they use our data for. And that makes this data analytics skill a very, very, very lucrative space to enter. I'm actually a living testimony. And I've been in the data analysis space since 2019. And since then, I've been doing a lot of projects and a lot of freelance roles, and also worked with organizations to actually make things come to life. So as you can see, companies need you as a data analyst. Companies need you because they will always want to drive revenue. They will always want to drive insights and revenue from data. They will always try to drive insights and revenue from data. So they need you to actually bring out this data from the raw facts to bring it back to life, to bring this data back to life. So as a data analyst, data is the new currency, and data analytics is the new bank. So this shows you how this skill is actually needed, not just in any not just in one particular sector of the economy. It's cut across a lot of the economy. In April of this year, I actually had an opportunity to work a health tech company in Abuja. And the funny part of this thing is that the role was remote. I could work from anywhere. I was actually in another part of the country while the organization was in Abuja, but we had this analysis to do for a UK firm. So you see that data analysis has no boundary. It has no boundary whether you are coming from any background that you are coming from. Whether you did medicine, you can use data analysis to drive insight from whatever you want to do. Whether you are coming from any background at all, it has no boundary, and it's actually a very, very lucrative skill. So that time in April, I had the opportunity to work with a lot of persons in and out of the country. And what were we doing? We are just simply using data, simplifying data to actually bring insights. And it's quite unfortunate that in this part of the country, most companies don't know about this. Most companies are losing out on the revenue. Most companies are losing out on they're spending so much because they overlook their data. They actually overlook their data. They don't want to make use of your data to actually use it to come to life. They don't want to use it to actually insight to life, which is quite unfortunate because in UK these people actually understand. But I'm so glad that blockchain has opened everyone's eye, regardless of any sector that you are. Blockchain has, and what actually is actually the data that Jumia makes a lot of leverage on. That is data. Jumia has a lot of customers. How do they leverage on that? Is data. And who are those people that works behind there? They are what? Data analysis. So actually, companies need you, and equipping yourself with this skill is actually going to make you unstoppable. Equipping yourself with this skill is actually going to make you unstoppable, whether you are working on site or whether you're working remote. Taking myself as an example, since I started my role, I've been working with firms, and most of them have physical locations. I always work from home, just by having internet connection and having my systems on standby, and that's all. And then with the skill I have, so data analysis or data analytics, as the case may be, in this era of digital blockchain is very, very paramount. Okay, now look at what's happening in the crypto industry now. Are we keep going to be chasing the pumps and dumps? No. We have to bend down to learn to how to build this thing, to how to build this wealth. That's why skill is very, very important at this level and at this stage. And data analysis is one of those skills that can take you far and beyond, because it is flexible and you can get it, you can work with different organizations regardless of anything. So as you can see this slide, you can see this picture, you can see that different things happening in this picture. Insights are being transformed to money, and that is what it is. There is no big firm in the country now, or in the continent, or in the world, or in the globe now, that doesn't leverage on data to actually make good insights from their business, or actually drive insights or reduce costs for their business. Not to talk about costs, talk about AI, artificial intelligence. All these things, all these models are built with data that are being trained to actually get that. Now, you can be, I know everybody, if not everyone here, a good percentage of people here has this Boomplay or Audiomack or Apple Music store. You can have either of them. Or even if you don't have it, you have Netflix. Most times you watch a particular movie, or you just listen to a particular song, and you see Boomplay recommending a different, like same genre, a music from the same genre of that music that you're listening. And you'll be like, how did these people know what I like? How did these people know and I would like to listen to this? All these things are just your data that they have gathered over time, trained, and then boom, predicted, and that's okay, this is what is going to be. So I'm still going to go into the types of data analysis. So I think I have little time, so I'm actually trying to make do with the time I have here, because data analysis is not actually a one day course. It's actually a course that you learn and also improve on it and build on top of what you've already learned. So we have types of data analysis. We have descriptive analytics, we have diagnostic analytics, we have predictive analytics, and we have prescriptive analytics. Descriptive analytics is trying to talk about what happened in business. you can be seeing that, okay, in Kano, we did not make revenue. What happened that we didn't make this revenue? In Lagos, we spent so much money in Lagos. Our expenses was much in Lagos. What really happened? So it's only with data these two things. And that type of analytics that you do is called descriptive analytics, because it answers the question of what happened. So the next one on the line is diagnostic analytics. Why did it happen? Why did it happen? This one, we are trying to find insight on why did this thing happen. Okay, we made loss in Lagos. Why did we make loss in Lagos? Or Apple, we exported like 5 million iPhone 13 to Nigeria. Why didn't we make sales? So this type of analytics is called diagnostic analytics, and predictive analytics is what will happen. This one, we're actually familiar with this one. We're actually familiar with this predictive analytics. What will happen? For instance, in the blockchain space now, you can see the world of the crypto, how everything is going down, and every other thing on Bitcoin, other cryptos going down, is through data that you can actually say, okay, get insight on what will happen to this thing in the future. You can actually predict that. And all these things I'm saying is not just peculiar to one particular sector. It cuts across different sectors. Prescriptive analytics is how can we make it happen. So I'll give you a detail now of all these things. So this descriptive analytics describes what has happened over a given period of time. For example, e-commerce. I gave an example of Jumia. Trying to know why they make sales in different parts of the country other than this part of the country. Diagnostic analysis, this focuses more on why something really happened, e.g., our safety monitors in the in banks. Before you go into a bank, you notice that there are some machines that will detect something in your body if you have something harmful. All those things that you see is data that they used to run the model and then put it out there as an AI. So being equipped with this skill is actually key. It's actually key. Then we have predictive analysis. This is more of what is going to happen in the near term. For instance, we all have our weather in our phone, our weather forecast in our phone. The weather forecasters already gathered data from the past and then run an analysis on it, built a model on it, and take it out there for people to actually see what is actually going to happen in the future. Prescriptive analysis, just like the name as implies, to prescribe, just like prescribing drugs. After bringing your analysis, you know the root cause of the problem, and then you prescribe, you give solution to what's going to happen. And one thing about data analytics is that there is one goal that we are actually trying to make: finding business problems. And you can't find business problems when you are not empathetic. So as a data analyst, you will have a good communication skill. You will have a good communication skill as a data analyst, because you have to understand the pain points of your clients. You have to understand the pain points of the stakeholders. You have to understand the pain points of the business in order to actually be, even before doing the analysis itself. So we have I'll just give you run down the duties and roles of a data analyst. So don't worry about this slide. I'm actually going to cut it across to you guys so that you can, and even more, so that you can go over it. So we have data outsourcing. This is the first step of a data analyst. they extract and gather the data required to solve the business problem. When I was working as an intern, a product manager for that matter, as an intern, a product manager, that's sometime 2020, we use data to actually know the business problem of that product that we are actually building. So this is to show you that data is actually paramount in every sector. It's actually paramount in every sector. Even before building a product, you have to understand the people you are building that product for. Because if you don't understand the people that you are building that product for, you will find yourself building an irrelevant product, and you just launch it and nobody will even say a word to you. So you need to understand this data outsourcing, getting the data from the right people, getting the data from the right source, or actually getting the data from the right category of people that you actually want to understand what they want to. So another role of a data analyst is to develop insights, define trends, patterns, and key insights within the data analysis, and using the most appropriate techniques. So define trends and patterns and key insights. You can see all those numbers. I don't know if you have seen bulk of numbers, and you'll be like, how can I use these insights? How can I use this large quantity of numbers to actually get insight from it? So that's why companies need data analysts, or data scientists, as the case may be, because they actually generate large volumes of data, and they don't know where to start from to use that data to drive insight. In Nigeria, one of the problems we have in Nigeria is data. If actually we can have a good system to make do with the data we have, you see that 40% of our problem will actually be solved. So the next one is to solve business challenges. A data analyst collaborates with key business stakeholders to identify specific business challenges which need to be solved. So this is actually well explained. It's actually self-explanatory. So I'll have to move into the next one. Data wrangling. Data wrangling is one of the things that data analysts do. If you say that, okay, you want to be a data analyst, there is no analysis that you do that you not do your data wrangling. Data wrangling is just simply the process of making your data to be useful, because some data will come in different form, that can come in different variations and different types. So you have to wrangle the data. So that you can get meaningful insights from it. Then data visualization. This is the one that we all see as the end users. You will see all those bar charts, pie charts, or the histogram, the pictogram. All those things are just the front end of what has been done in the back end. A lot of work has been done in the back end before visualizing that thing. And also, visualizing that thing is not, you don't just, there are some techniques used in visualizing that thing. There are some do's and don'ts when visualizing. My fellow colleague in where I worked, he had these bad visualization skills, and it's something that he needed to improve on. So it's not just coming to bring on bar charts and pie charts just to drive your insights. The thing is that are the audience going to understand you? Are the audience actually going to get you, and audience are actually going to understand this thing that you've done. Because in the end, what we are trying to do is what? To present this to the stakeholders, or to present this thing to the public or to government, because we also work for the government, to present this to the government. So these are many more of the roles of a data analyst. Just like I said, the journey to become a data analyst, remember, the journey to become a data analyst is not a day journey, but I tell you, it's a journey that is worthwhile, because I'm already in the space and it's actually a lucrative skill. Then a data analyst also makes a data-driven decision. They apply market research, they recommend data-driven strategies and actions to help business. So from that data, you can imagine from just numbers, you get a data-driven decision. So, but I will have to note that there is a slight difference. You will first of all start with data analysis. There is a roadmap, because if you miss the roadmap, you are going to actually find it difficult. That's why when I was starting out, I was fortunate enough to have this roadmap. But people, if you don't have this roadmap, you find yourself rigmaroling in one irrelevant place, which is not actually going to make you progress. So there are some data analytics tools that we use. We have the hard skills and also have the soft skills. For the hard skills, we have Excel, we have Google Sheets, Microsoft Power BI, which is very powerful, Tableau, SQL, Python. And for the soft skill, we have report writing and critical thinking, problem solving and communication skills. So you can see that being a data analyst, also you need to have this soft skill and also you need to have this hard skill. So this is an anatomy of a dashboard where you can connect to your data, because as a data analyst, you find yourself connecting data from different sources. You find yourself having an on-premise data connection on cloud, because now recently everything is actually moving on cloud. So people are trying to connect, store their data in the cloud. So you have the ability, you have to know the ability, you have to have the ability to actually get this data from the cloud or from on-premise to actually do that. And one of the best tools to do this thing is Microsoft Power BI. As a data analyst, if you don't have these skills that I just listed, that's when we'll have the hard skills and the soft skills, which is Microsoft Power BI. This is actually one of the tools that you need to learn as a beginner or as a starter. Even Excel is very, very, very important. It's actually an underrated tool, but it's very, very powerful in the data science space. So what do we use these data for? You can use data for finding new customers, better managing selling efforts, improving customer service. I'll talk about this improving customer service. There is a project that I run, that I work for. The customers the firm noticed that they are having a declining rate of customers by the day. They needed to know what's up. They needed to know what is actually happening. They had to consult us. So we had to understand their pain point. That's why I say that communication skill is actually very important. Empathy, actually very important. We had to actually understand their pain points and then gather data to actually start this analysis. And at the end, within a space of a month or thereabout, they're actually having their customers back because we have tackled the business problem for them. So you can also use data for predicting sales trend here. and also tracking social media interactions. This one, social media interactions, we're actually familiar with this one because Facebook use a lot of our data. Facebook, Instagram, they use a lot of our data, and they use it to generate billions of dollars, and we are not aware of this, and that's why we cannot actually monetize our data. And there are ways that you can actually monetize your data. There are some things that you can do and you take hold of your data, and blockchain is actually bringing that possible, making our data to be decentralized, to be decentralized. So if you I don't know if you guys can remember or recall, back then in 2016, Facebook was actually sanctioned for misusing people's data, billions of dollars, and Mark actually paid it because it's against the data regulation rules. He went out against it. So this is to tell you how powerful your data is. This is to tell you how handy business people use this to actually generate revenue across every sector. Name the sector, across every sector. Government parastatals everywhere actually leverages on data. So why are you not going to know what this could do with your data, and why are you not going to key into this skill? Because it's actually very, very lucrative. So just by Cisco, Cisco is actually one of the leading tech companies. Had this code that data is the new oil. Just like the oil we had in the olden days, data is actually the new oil, but you have to mine, you have to dig out informations from it, and businesses use it to make a lot of money. And you can imagine when you can help businesses to make this much money, what more about you? You keep earning bigger. So on a lighter note, and finally, equipping yourself with this skill makes you more attractive in diverse sectors, as it's a flexible role. Taking myself for an instance, I have actually worked in the health sector. I've actually worked in the business and finance, and also currently I'm actually in the esports company. So you can see that it's quite flexible. And not to mention, I actually done couples of freelance for people. So all these things builds your career. All these things actually builds your career. Even when you are still looking for jobs there yet, you can still be earning as a freelance while you build your career, because it's actually good to have a company that you can build on top of what you're already building. So working as a much opportunities, although it has its own limitations and all that. But as you are learning to grow and also building, you will also be earning from it as a freelance, because you can check it online, check the top paying skill of the century or of the year. You can see that data analysis is going to pop up, and it's actually high in demand. All these freelance companies or roles, you can actually go there and check it and see that they're actually, just learn a skill, just learn 1, 2 or 3, and you see yourself scaling above all. So lastly, I would love to say this: learning a skill is very, very paramount, but monetizing it is actually a different thing. Learning a skill is good and also very paramount, but monetizing a skill is also a skill on its own. So knowing how to do this is actually going to help you grow in your career. After learning a skill, I've seen couples of persons learning web development. As high paying as web development is, they don't know how to monetize it. They don't actually know how to sell themselves. They don't know how to go about it in this tech space, which is very, very, very awful and bad. And there's some proven formulas in that which you can actually go. Some of you here that are actually on my WhatsApp, I put out a lot of content about that. and all. So monetizing, having a skill is one thing, and monetizing it is actually another thing. And monetizing a skill is actually a skill on its own. But first thing first, get the skill first. Network, which is very, very important. Network, which is one of the platforms that Crypto Bootcamp has given everyone. Crypto Bootcamp has given everyone the opportunity to network. So don't play with this particular network. Don't joke with this. Don't joke with this opportunity, because a lot of persons is looking for this community of like minds to grow and build. So since I have little time, I would have loved to go on and on, but I will have to actually stop here.